September 24th, 2018. A laboratory in California successfully eliminates a population of Anopheles gambiae, a malaria-spreading mosquito native to sub-Saharan Africa, in a small control group. Using the CRISPR gene editor process to destroy the double-sex gene, the gene responsible for developing female mosquitoes, the population was completely decimated within only 12 generations due to lack of healthy females. This discovery sent ripples through the scientific and health community due to the fact that a large-scale operation similar to this could wipe out malaria from sub-Saharan Africa, where 90% of infections occur. But first, we need to take a step back from this and really analyze the Anopheles gambiae mosquito, malaria, CRISPR, and how this could potentially save millions of future lives or destroy the entire sub-Saharan ecosystem. First, what is malaria and what does it have to do with mosquitoes? According to the World Health Organization, malaria is a disease caused by parasites called Plasmodium parasites, which are transmitted via bites from female mosquitoes from the Anopheles gambiae species. Because the Anopheles gambiae transfers malaria parasites so easily, they are known as malaria vectors, the taxi service of the malaria disease. Once bitten, symptoms will not show until 10 to 15 days later, and the symptoms mimic that of the common cold. However, after a short period, these symptoms grow in severity until the person becomes immune to the disease or they die as a result. In young children under 5 years of age, they may suffer more severe symptoms, including severe anemia and respiratory distress. These young children currently make up 70% of malaria deaths. Pregnant women and HIV/AIDS sufferers also have high risk for malaria. Next, we need to look at what is happening in sub-Saharan Africa and why malaria is so prevalent here. First of all, sub-Saharan Africa is made up of 46 countries, which are labeled in green. This is a very large area, but most of it is concentrated in the center, so we will mainly focus on the top 10 most affected countries, 9 of which are in this region. From now on, when I mention sub-Saharan Africa, imagine these 9 countries, although don't forget that malaria is prevalent in all corners of the region. The countries are listed as follows. Uganda is on top with 10.3 million cases in 2017, followed by Ghana, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burkina Faso, Kenya, Zambia, Pakistan, which is not in sub-Saharan Africa, but was reported to have 4.3 million cases in 2017, Ethiopia, Malawi, and finally Niger with 3.5 million. Although these are countries that are most affected, over half the world is actually at risk, including countries in the Americas, Southeast Asia, including India and Bangladesh, Eastern Mediterranean, and the Western Pacific. Now, are there ways to prevent or cure the disease? Yes, but they are very difficult to implement. First of all, malaria can be treated in its early stages by certain drugs, which can be administered by doctors. But it is much better to prevent the disease than to treat it, and there are 2 ways of preventing it. First, a recent vaccine called RTSS. Although it began development in 2001 and passed phase 3 testing in 2014, it has only gained traction at the beginning of this year and is still too early to be widely used. It is currently being used in certain parts of Ghana, Kenya, and Malawi, and the World Health Organization, as well as its regional office of Africa, who is pushing the vaccine, hope to have better insight on its impact on malaria cases in 2020 when phase 4 testing will begin. But already, previous tests have shown that the vaccine was able to prevent around 40% of malaria cases, as well as prevent 29% of severe malaria cases. Of course, this sounds like a problem solved. A vaccine is on the way and is generally efficient, even in its early stages. However, a vaccine only works if it is used on a person, and the poor infrastructure in many sub-Saharan countries is a major limiting factor. While many large cities can have vaccines easily administered, trying to send trucks down to the rural parts of the country is half impossible. Paved roads turn to dirt. Nice, flat, and developed areas turn to wild jungles with sparsely populated pockets that need the vaccine the most. While countries like Nigeria and Ethiopia are developing rapidly, a majority of these countries can't afford to develop themselves due to lack of money, political instability, and other factors. All this ignoring the fact that the vaccine itself is still in development. Every second we wait to develop a new cure, another child falls to the parasite. And considering the high chance that a man will walk on Mars before the vaccine is finished, means that we need to find a new way to stop the disease. And here's where CRISPR enters the scene. CRISPR-Cas9, often shortened to either CRISPR or Cas9, is a modern gene editing tool used to genetically alter certain organisms and is currently the cheapest, quickest, and easiest way to alter DNA. To cut it simple, CRISPR stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. This is both a mouthful and probably doesn't make much sense to me or most people watching. What about the Cas9 part? Without going too much into detail about DNA replication, Cas9 is an enzyme responsible for ripping two strands of DNA apart so that more DNA can be inserted into the halves to create two separate pieces of DNA. Now you see where this might become important. Another nifty little molecule is one called gRNA, or guide RNA. If Cas9 was a giant construction truck, gRNA would be the driver. It guides the Cas9 to the DNA and shows it where to cut. Now, how does this process work exactly? Scientists make the gRNA mislead the Cas9 enzyme to cut across the DNA. The body sees that something is wrong and tries to fix it. The scientist uses this fixing mechanism to their advantage and insert a little mutation in the DNA, effectively modifying the organism in question. Now, there could be many ways scientists use the CRISPR-Cas9 process, such as making corn grow larger, making horses run faster, and making a species of deadly malaria-spreading mosquitoes only produce male offspring so that they would go extinct after 12 generations because of lack of reproduction. So, a bunch of scientists in San Diego decided to make a population of 100 deadly malaria-spreading mosquitoes only produce male offspring so that they would go extinct after 12 generations because of lack of reproduction. And on September 24th, 2018, they made this happen. Alright, now we have a foolproof method of murdering mosquitoes so that they can't spread malaria to anyone ever again, right? Yes. And no. See, while the experiment worked, it worked in a small confined box with a small and dense population, which is completely different from mosquitoes in the wild. Many scientists, such as University of California entomologist Omar Akbari, told Science News that it would not work because mosquitoes in captivity are less ecologically pressured to resist the gene. At this point, we are entering arguments for and against CRISPR-Cas9 process being used against mosquitoes in sub-Saharan Africa. However, with arguments, there are always bias, and when reviewing arguments, it is important to know where you stand. While I try to remain unbiased when reviewing arguments, I have to come clean and say that I openly support CRISPR. With every day wasted trying to make sure this works, more children are suffocating on their own bodies because some bug gave them a rampaging parasite. However, I respect and understand all arguments made against CRISPR and its weaponization. Please allow me to offer the most unbiased view of all arguments from both sides the best that I can. First against CRISPR is the obvious, that the mosquito population was much too small and much too condensed to properly simulate real mosquitoes. While it is an impressive demonstration of the capabilities of CRISPR, there is no 100% guarantee that it will hold up in future testing. Second, we have no idea how many animals are dependent on this species of mosquito for food. While they are major carriers of malaria, we can't ignore the fact that they are planning to force an entire species into extinction. While we have done it before, this decision could have world-changing ramifications that we can't predict. This is a major risk. Not only that, but there are questions and concerns about the ethics of CRISPR, not only to wipe out species as we please, but about the ethics of manipulating genetics itself. However, there are perks to CRISPR. First of all, the test did work. It worked well. It wiped out the mosquito population very quickly. Even with the specific conditions, it is proven to work. With this potential comes the potential to save millions of lives. This could be comparable to the vaccine, which has saved countless lives. We have the same opportunity with CRISPR. And to wipe away the questions of ethics, even the skeptical Omar Akbari said himself, if you have a technology that could eradicate that mosquito, it would be unethical not to use it. While any ethics argument is completely formed by opinion and point of view, the human species comes first. If there was a better and faster way to do this, we could have taken that opportunity long ago. But this could possibly erupt into a war against malaria and mosquitoes, and I personally prefer to be on the winning side of things. No matter what side you're on the GMO, CRISPR, and gene drive debates, you have to admit that it is both great risk and great rewards. It has the potential to save lives, but those lives saved come from destruction. Think about that.